Hi, everyone. Welcome to our third Energy Chat. I'm Valerie Dudley with Cornell Cooperative Extension of Delaware County, and today we are pleased to be hosting Ted Finkle with Apex Solar Power. Ted is going to talk about the process of going solar.
Hello, Ted Finkle here. Grew up in Margaretville, New York, in the Catskill Mountains. Currently live in South Courtright, New York. I'm the Central New York consultant for Apex Solar Power. Apex has been in business for 13 years. We install residential and small scale commercial solar, also battery storage, electric vehicle charge stations, and we also have a roofing division. Our territory is all of New England, New York, and northern New Jersey. That's pretty much me. I kind of wanted to start also just by saying that it's a good place to start with a home energy audit when considering solar, just in reducing the energy consumption and to keep the initial cost of the solar system down. And that's something that the Cornell Cooperative Extension does offer.
Great. My first question is, what should someone look for in a solar installation company?
You want a company that's been around. I would say if you have someone at a company that's 8 to 10 years is good. Solar companies kind of come and go. So you want somebody that's going to be around to stand behind their product and service their product. Another element is warranties. All level 1 panels have a 25-year warranty, but you'd like a 25-year warranty on the panels, the inverter, and many of the better companies have 25 years on the workmanship. So if you get the 25 years on all of those, that's what you're looking for. Another thing is NABCEP, the North American Board of Certified Energy Practitioners. This is the highest standard of accreditation for a solar installer. If you can find a company that has company-wide accreditation with NABCEP, you're looking at a company that has every installer fully certified. So that just lets you know that that's a top team, and everyone installing your system is the top player. Other than that, we're looking at, there's other things like there's the Community Solarize Initiative. These are programs that solar companies compete to be part of. It's when communities get together and solarize the community to leverage pricing and such. They choose the top teams to be involved with this program. Things like that, things like safety awards. These are all good credentials for a solar company.
Oh, great. And how does going solar make environmental sense?
Well, the statement I like to talk about is that every hour, enough solar energy hits the earth to basically provide the energy needs for the entire population for an entire year. So if you think about that, it's really an incredible infinite source of power that solar offers. It's something we really can't afford to waste at this time. We really have to take advantage of that. So in solar, I mean, environmentally speaking, it doesn't pollute the water, doesn't pollute the air, cleaner rivers, cleaner drinking water, and it doesn't create greenhouse gases, which are warming the earth now faster than we can adapt, essentially. So solar is a huge factor in turning that all around. And that just makes it a very good it's a sound environmental investment.
Wonderful. How does going solar make financial sense?
Basically, when you're going solar, you're taking your electric bill and you're basically taking that money and investing it in your home. You're trading that electric bill for a solar payment, which is generally less than the electric payment. So you're taking that same money, investing it in your home. It's really investing it in your future. The panels will continue to produce for 30 to 40 years, so you will have that savings for a long time. Other things to consider are the escalating costs of power, which is about 5 to 10% per year. So as those costs go up, you're going to continue to have the same consistent pricing. You're also thinking about weather changes that are happening, larger weather events. This can compromise the grid. 70% of the grid is 25 years or older. So when they go to upgrade that, they're going to pass that cost off to the customer. So you're insulating yourself from that as well.
Ah, well, that's such great information.
And there's one more important thing is there's tax credits available now. Federal is 26%, state is 25%. And there's also the NYSERDA grant, which is 35 cents per kilowatt hour installed. And there's certain levels of income. With a household of 2, it's 52,000. Household of 3, 64,000. 4, 76. 5, 89. If you land in those categories, you'll get double the NYSERDA. So that's very helpful in helping everyone go solar.
Wow, those are great incentives. What are factors to consider about your home when looking to go solar?
Right. I mean, the first thing we look at is the roof orientation. You're looking for a roof plane. I mean, south-facing orientation is going to give you the most production. So if you have a roof plane that offers south-facing, that's great. You can go all the way up to east and west. Once you get beyond that, the production drops and it's not really viable. But that offers a lot of different roof scenarios. If those don't work out, there can be shading issues as well. There's always a ground mount application. And I mean, the ground mount could be a ground rack mount, it could be a pole mount, or an all-earth tracker. The all-earth tracker is amazing. It's super efficient because it's about 20 to 24 panels. Essentially, it wakes up in the morning and it just follows the sun. It has a motor and it moves and it follows the sun all day. So if it makes 6,000 kilowatt hours, if its size at 6,000, it'll actually make about 9,000. So it's just a super efficient application, pretty amazing. The next thing you want to think about is the age of the roof. You don't really want to put solar on a roof that's over 10, 15 years old, because once you apply the solar, if you have to replace the roof, you're going to have to remove the solar. And there's a cost for that to remove and replace. So you basically would negate your savings that way. So you really want to make sure that you have a roof that's going to withstand that life of the panel. There's a tax credit for that as well, preparing for solar. If you're putting on a new roof, 26% federal credit. So that's helpful as well. Nice. Then you want to think about shading. Shading can cause a dramatic drop in production. And so often there's trees removed to accommodate certain roof planes, or a ground mount for that matter. And there's a tax credit for that as well, a 26% tax credit to remove those trees. So that's very helpful as well. And then you would really want to check the electrical infrastructure, make sure there's enough room in the panel to receive the solar. If there's not, we can do a sub panel. You know, a company would do a sub panel. If the electrical wiring is very old, then you got to really consider upgrading that as well. Other things to consider is power, backup power. When the grid goes down, the solar shuts off. It's called anti-islanding. That's to prevent surges back onto the grid. People are out there fixing the lines, they can get hurt. So the power goes off. So if you have backup, there's battery backup systems where they have their own inverter. So your grid is down, you're still charging that battery. Without solar, you're going to get about a day and a half, depending on the loads. They're just essential loads. If you have solar, you're going to continue to charge that battery system as long as you have, sun. And if you don't have the battery system, you also have a generator backup, which is something to consider as well.
Wow. What are the first steps and process of getting a free solar quote and moving ahead with the solar installation?
Okay. Basically, the first step is I would get an electric bill. I mean, that's how I handle it. Get an electric bill, and I take a look at the bill. And on most electric bills, there's a year's usage portion. So you size the system based on that year's usage. And you want to size that fairly accurately because there's what's called net metering. Some areas you can utilize that, some you can't. But basically what that is as you're making more power during the summer months than you're utilizing, that goes back to the grid, turns the meter backwards, and you store solar credits for the winter and the evenings. And essentially, at the end of March, they turn that over and they pay you about a third of what the value is. During the year, it's $1 for dollar. At the end of March, they pay you about 30 cents on the dollar. So you really want to size the system fairly accurately. You want to consider any additional usage you may be incurring in the future. It could be EV charging, it could be a hot tub, a mini split you might put in, geothermal, all these things, just to have an accurate depiction of your usage. Basically what we do is at that point, I would set up a meeting. It's a Google meeting similar to what we're doing right now, and discuss the proposal, the pricing, the components, and just let you know exactly what that looks like. At that point, if it's something someone wants to move ahead with, we schedule a site tech visit, and the site tech comes out. He does a sun eye reading from the roof plane or the ground mount area. And that's an interesting device. It offers a little fisheye image of the shading in your area. So it will show you what trees are actually causing problems. Very helpful when determining what to remove. So there's a little guesswork there, but so he'll do that. He'll check the electrical infrastructure, and then he'll check the roof integrity. We submit that information about the roof to an engineer. That usually passes 98% of the time. And then at that point, he takes that information, gives it to your project manager. Project manager gets together with a designer. They do a design of the panels in context so you can see what that will look like on the roof or on the ground. And essentially, he sends you have a design meeting where he sends over, it's about a 15-page document. It's a nice opportunity to see the entire project laid out in front of you, essentially, all the pricing, all the components, all the electrical, a lot of things that you may not want to see, but there's a lot there. And you can ask questions about the whole thing at that point. If there's issues with the design, they'll redo the design to match what you're looking for to some degree. If everything looks good, then essentially at that point, they send a final contract. We sign the contract, and then we move ahead. It's about an 8 to 10 week process, basically from start to finish, essentially.
Is there anything else you'd like to add? That was really informative.
I mean, Apex's goal is just to provide excellent service and product, and just to make it easy. That's really what's important. It's important for people to know just how kind of easy it is to get a quote, and really from the quote, it's a great opportunity to save money, of course, to see what those savings might be. And it's also, you see the savings, you see the possibility of going solar and keeping, the Cascade Mountain water and rivers clean. It's something that's nice for everyone to take a look at and see if it works for them.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Ted, for sharing this great information about how to go solar. I really learned a lot. As you mentioned, there are some fantastic incentive programs right now for solar. So if you're interested, contact Ted or myself to find out more. I'm going to put up the contact info, but it's also in the chat box.
Okay, great.
Yep.
And, thank you, Valerie.
Yeah. And also want to let people know that if you wanted to, put this slide up, wanted to know about getting the home energy assessment, you can contact me about that. Every New Yorker can get a free one. And it is a good way to find out, how much energy you actually need and how much more energy you can save before you go solar or just in general. So yeah, thanks again, Ted. Thanks to everyone for joining us today. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.